Hey, Carrie.
Hey,
Hey, everybody.
welcome.
Yep, welcome to Going Deeper. This is a post-sermon conversation that we're having. We just finished up a series called Is God Really? And on Sunday, you can check it out on the sermon link if you'd like, if you missed it. We talked about Is God Really Jealous? And so we're going to first open up with scripture. It's from, go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah, we read on Sunday from Exodus 20, verses 1 through 6, and this is where Moses gives the Ten Commandments. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Jealousy and love. So we're going to kick off this conversation by talking about jealousy. And I'm sure many of us can think about personal examples of jealousy. I really liked how Jono dug into the definitions, because sometimes our human experience can actually be what we're working out of. So let's talk about, and the definition that was on the sermon study that you can find in the link as well. So jealousy can be considered a definition as feeling an unhappy or angry desire to have what someone else has. And when you think about this, I think Jono said that's more like envy. And in the Ten Commandments, that would be coveting. Something that you don't have the right to own. You're not entitled to. But here's this other definition. This is the Merriam-Webster Dictionary's formal definition of jealous. As very concerned about protecting something that you're vigilant in guarding as a possession. In other words, this jealousy is desiring something that is rightfully yours.
Yeah.
So if you think about that definition, Carrie, what would you say that you are most jealous of?
Yeah, I mean, and that changes everything. Mm-hmm. You know, when I think about being jealous of something that I don't have, I can think of all sorts of examples of things that maybe I want that I don't have. But when I think of being jealous for something, being concerned about something that to guard and protect and keep it, mm-hmm. I think about the people in my life mm-hmm. that are closest to me. I think about my children first and my husband. I am jealous for them according to that definition. I want to protect, I want to keep them, I want to guard them. And that might, look very different, or they may not agree with the ways that I choose to protect or keep them.
Mother hen.
Yes, they may not, agree with the things that I may keep from them, or that the limits I may put on them. But it's from a desire to guard their hearts, their bodies, their safety. And then when I think about it that way, and I think about a God who's my father, and I'm his beloved child, and his desire is to love and protect and guard and keep me, well then it's a whole different understanding of that term of God mm-hmm. being jealous, a jealous mm-hmm. God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes my jealousy, I think, can be out of neediness, or insecurity, going to something else other than God, other than my first love, in order to have needs met. So I can be jealous. I can be jealous of people that I don't even know exist. I can be jealous of, as my kids move out of my house, I can be jealous of the neighbors that they're going to have one day because they get to be with them. Maybe more than I get to be with them. Or I can even look back, and I can look back and be jealous of the time that I had with my husband and my kids before they moved on and became independent adults. And I think the aha moment for me is I'm stewarding, right?
Mm.
I'm stewarding children. We're stewarding children. But they're God's first. You know, we're submitting to be the best wives that we know how to be, and but our husbands are God's first. And so that for me was am I really jealous for something that I own? No, it's like, do we own anything?
Right, well, true, right.
Are we entitled to
what
anything?
What belongs to us, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the, what do you think the difference is then between God's jealousy and our jealousy when you pare it down? And how is our view of God's jealousy skewed by our sin and our brokenness?
Yeah. And that so much of it goes back to Jono's message too. And I think about what he said about what God deserves. And he doesn't need our affection, or he doesn't need, our worship, but he certainly deserves it. And because he's created all things,
right.
He's made all things, everything belongs to him. And so just that idea that we really don't rightfully own anything, kind of going back to what you were saying, Nancy, and the things that I often feel jealous for are things that are not rightfully mine, and are things that I'm trying to grasp in order to fill a void that I have in my heart. And one of the things I think that God is so jealous for is to be the one thing that fills the void, and the ache that we all have in our hearts. And he knows that he is the only one.
Right, and he created us to desire him as the only one. So, we're going to worship something or someone. That's how God created us. And so in order to put that desire on God, I always think about that in Revelations 2, the message to the church at Ephesus, just remember your first love. And as distracted as I can get, as unfixed my eyes can be, as wandering my heart can be, to each day try to come back and remember our first love. Not because we need to earn it, right? Not because it's not out of a fear of disappointing God. It's out of the motivation of, oh my goodness, he's the lover of my soul, and I never want to let that go, like that song goes.
Yeah. And then the question that I can't remember exactly, but Jono posed the question for us to ask, those closest to us, what is it that we have the most affection for? The most
what
attention?
Are we going? And when we have a problem, what are we going to solve the problem? Yeah, that was another point, because the thing that solves the problem is the thing that we're worshiping.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what are the things that we spend the most attention on, and the most things that we adore the most and have the most affection for?
Do you mean Carrie and I go back several years, and I think for both of us sometimes it's chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. We can escape in lots of ways, and so our encouragement for you today is to remember your first love, that you have a God who's jealous for you, not because he's insecure, not because he needs us, but because his love for us is life-giving. It is his jealousy is a rescuing grace for us. So that's our prayer for you today. Come back and join us for another Going Deeper. Go check out the sermon study, and thanks so much. Any final words?
No, that's it.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks
See you
for
next
being
time.
here. See ya.